Namaste. हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. My name is Manisha Singh. Today I am teaching you documentation and temperature monitoring during transportation. Then subject name is food storage and transport. Let's start the topic. First of all, we will take temperature monitoring during transport. Then a question arises in your mind, why we need to monitor temperature during transport? So, as you all know, transporting perishable items like food, pharmaceuticals, flowers, and even livestock for long distances like interstate travel, most of these products are temperature sensitive and may deteriorate in room temperature or higher. Certain items like fish and meat cannot be transported without freezer. Other items like fruits and vegetables may need to transport at a lower temperature at room temperature to room temperature around 12 degrees Celsius to maintain their freshness as they are delivered to the final storage or grocery store from the farmer or collecting centers. Nonetheless, pharmaceuticals such as drugs and vaccines are highly temperature sensitive. During a long distance travel, there is a high chance of temperature chances inside the cargo. For example, due to a delay, if some breakdown happen in a hotter area, the temperature of the freezer or cargo area might rise exceeding the desired temperature level, and the end result will be the whole consignment may have deteriorated. So it is very important to monitor temperature during transport, and temperature recorders with printers and temperature data loggers with GSM modems will be a great solution for this type of application. In transporting perishable products, it's becoming ever more important to provide records of the temperatures and, in some cases, humidity to which cargo has been exposed. This white paper provides some background to the temperature and humidity logging in logistics and discusses equipment options. After finishing this paper, the reader should have an appreciation of the reasons for capturing temperature and humidity data and an understanding of the equipment available and how it can be used. Then, temperature monitoring. Many products deteriorate quickly at room temperature and faster, still as temperature rise higher. Food items such as fruit, meat, and fish cannot be shipped long distances without refrigeration. In some instances, chilling to 13 degrees Celsius is sufficient for produce to be sold fresh, such as bananas, eggs are another example, where humidity control is also required. Other products need to be frozen to prevent deterioration is the same is true for pharmaceuticals and medical products. The Healthcare Distribution Management Association estimates that some 10% drugs are temperature sensitive, and vaccines and blood products are other example of medical products needing strict temperature control, although these are sometimes subjected to freeze drying through the lyophilization process. The need for temperature control extends beyond products for the human consumption. Some specialist paints or coating materials will be damaged by the exposure of low temperatures. Other chemicals must be kept within strict temperature limits during transportation. Another area is the shipping of antiquities and works of art. For these, humidity can be bigger concern than temperature as it can lead to mold, and especially if two are combined. The cold chain. Perishable products must be kept at a controlled temperature from the point of origin to delivery to retailer or pharmacy. The logistics industry refers to this as the cold chain, and it encompasses both rivers as well as warehouses, distribution centers, and the final storage or holding areas. Throughout this chain, the risk of failure is ever present, meaning there is always a possibility of cargo exceeding permissible or safe temperature levels, even if only briefly. For example, a truck might be stopped without power in desert heat, allowing temperatures in the river to rise. Then power is restored and the temperature in the container comes back down, but the product is damaged. Then cost and liability issues. When cargo such as any of those items listed above are exposed to temperatures outside of prescribed limits, it can be damaged. In some cases, this is evident, such as with bananas, but in other situations, like the transport of vaccines, it may not be apparent that damage has occurred and the vaccines becomes ineffective. For some products, going over temperature, even only briefly, can reduce shelf life dramatically, incurring, incurring substantial cost when it cannot be sold. Organizations contracting to ship perishable products often specify the permissible temperature range. However, even if it is possible to show that product was exposed to conditions outside of those contracted, proving where it happened and thus responsibility can be much harder. The question is to create a time-based record of the temperatures experienced. Then recording temperature and humidity. The maximum minimum thermometer was invented around 1780 and for a long time was the only means of recording the highest and the lowest temperatures observed over a given period. Besides employing mercury as the expansion medium, its other weakness was the absence of any time record. As a result, while such a thermometer could be included in a shipment of fruit, there would be no way to know when or for how long the peak temperature was experienced. Without this information, it's difficult to determine responsibility for any spoilage. The same applies to humidity indicators. Various types are available, most of which utilize some color change effect to show either the peak humidity experienced or the current humidity. As with the maximum minimum thermometer, though, there is no time record to support claims for negligence. Next topic is documentation. When the items are transported either domestically or internationally, the delivery must be accompanied by the relevant documentation. The amount of documentation varies depending on if the shipment is within the US or to the another country. As far as interstate transportation of goods in the US, there are three documents for the that are of the greatest importance: the bill of lading, freight bill, and the free on board terms of sale. First of all, bill of lading. The bill of lading is the most important document that is used in transporting goods. The legal definition of bill of lading is a contract for the carriage of goods and the document of title to them. It provides any and all information that the carrier will need to transport the items. It contains the shipment origin and the contract terms for the transportation and is required by the carrier before the shipment is taken. Heading should include the name and address of the consigner and consignee, and often it will have the routing instructions for the carrier. It will contain a description of the goods to be transported and quantity for each of the commodities and the commodity class and rate. The bill of lading will contain the terms of the contract for the movement of goods by the common carrier. This is the contract between the shipper and the carrier to transport the goods on the bill of lading to the consignee. The bill of lading contract has 9 terms. First one is common carrier liability. The carrier is liable for loss and the damage of the goods being transported, except if the goods were improperly packaged by the shipper or if the goods themselves would be liable to be a normal loss like through evaporation. The carrier is not liable for acts of God, public enemy, or public authority. Second one is delay in transit. The carrier cannot be held liable if the loss or damages due to a delay in transportation of the goods. Freight not accepted. If the goods are not accepted within the time allocated, the carrier can store the goods at a cost to the owner. Fourth one is extraordinary value. The carrier is not liable and does not have to carry items of extraordinary value that are not on the rated in the published classifications or tariffs unless a special agreement with the shipper has been negotiated. Then explosives. The carrier has to be given full written disclosure when they are shipping dangerous material. Otherwise, they are not liable for any losses. Recourse. The carrier cannot make additional charges to the shipper after making a delivery. Then substitute bill of lading. If the bill of lading is a substitute or exchange for another bill of lading, then the current bill of lading has to include all the clauses from previous documents. Alteration. The carrier must note any changes or additions to ensure that they can be enforceable. And ninth one is claims. This clause specifies the details on how to file a claim against the shipper and the time period after delivery in which the claim will be accepted. Then freight bill. The freight bill is the carrier's invoice to the shipper for all the charges that the carrier has incurred. The carrier's freight bill will include the details of the shipment, the items being shipped, the consign and the origin and the destination, as well as total weight and total charges. Some carriers can ask for prepayment from the shipper if the value of the items being shipped is less than the total expected freight charges. If the charges are not prepaid, then the carrier can present a freight bill on collect. This implies that the carrier will present the freight bill on the day of delivery. FOB terms of sale. FOB stands for free on board terms of sales documents. Which party will be liable for the transportation cost, which party is in control of the movement of the goods, and when the title passes to the buyer. If FOB terms of sale indicate that it is FOB delivered, then this implies that the shipper will be responsible for all the carrier's cost. If the terms of FOB sale show FOB origin, this means that the buyer will take the title of the goods when they are shipped and they will incur all the transportation costs. Hope you all are satisfied with this session. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. If you have any query, please mention it in a comment box. I will resolve them whenever we have a live session. Thank you so much for watching this video.